Alrighty. Welcome back. We're going to be working on status effects, abilities, all that good stuff. So, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, last time we set it up, we tested a few things. We made sure that our queued action, we can actually affect our queued actions. That was good. Let's check out all of our status effects. So if we take a look, we tested our queued action stuff. I believe that was all working. But yeah, let's take a look at some of our status effects. So we have burn. Potency is the damage over time. So we could set it to something like 5 and 5. So over 5 seconds, every second it's gonna be doing 5 damage, which maybe is a lot, but that's all. It depends on the scale of your effects. So yeah, we're just gonna test this one out. It's already part of our equipment. It's on the test card. It's fast. It does 10 damage. It targets an enemy, and it'll burn it and deal 5 damage. So if we run this, you should see our test card. Drag it over Bombi, and you can see the burn, and then it goes away. Okay, so burn's working. That's great. Let's do poison. And I wonder if poison, burn. Well, we should take a look at how they actually work. I wonder if there's any difference, or if it's just the tag. Yeah, let's take a look here. So poison. So we should move our player. What's going on here? Is our player floating in the air? Oh yeah, they are. Oh, we'll check our collider in a sec. But yeah, if we drag this over it, poison does the same thing as burn. Of course, for other abilities that reference poison, it'll do something different, right? Bleed, I'm guessing, is the same thing. I'm guessing a lot of these are the same thing. Yeah, just some damage over time. Thorns is probably also that. So freeze, shock, chill, slow. These are definitely different. Let's take a look at what these status effects actually do. So, search. Let's see. Status effect events. These are when the effects expire. Let's see the status effect manager. Update all the effects, update character effects, status effects, do the effects. Is damage over time. Burn, poison, bleed. Interesting. So everything else... Everything else is something different. What do they do, though? I guess we can figure that out. These are damage over time. Thorns should be a damage over time. I didn't see thorns anywhere in the... Let's try it, I guess. See what happens. Nothing. Because Thorns is not implemented. Okay, that's fine. We can come back and do that. Guess we should see what the other abilities do. Freeze, shock, chill, slow. Let's find them. Where are they? Where are they? Here we go. Stackable effects. Non-stackable effects. That's fine. Create a new status effect. Status effect to apply. So... let's see if freeze or anything even takes place. Where do we even do the other ones? Oh, I guess right here. Invoke freeze expired, but where does it do the thing? Well, let's see what Cursor has to say about this. They're not all... oh. Was not on the right screen. They are not all implemented. What are the steps required to get them all functional? Let's see what it says. Alright, sure, let's do it for Thorns. Let's see what it says. Because it does look like it's doing the damage over time. But it's not doing much else. Oh, Thorns is like if I get hit, then I damage. That makes sense. What is it doing? Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, it's handled in the damage resolution. That makes sense. It's like a positive status effect. Alright, well, let's see if we can test that. So we're gonna apply to ourself, because I guess that's it is a buff. We'll set the duration to something like super long. And we'll enable our AI. We're also gonna change our player's health to be like 10,000, just so that we don't die so quickly. And then let's actually enable AI. Okay, so now we should apply thorns to ourselves. When the enemy attacks us, they should take 5 damage. Let's test it. See if it works. Okay, it took 10 damage. Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah, they are taking damage every time they attack us. Pretty cool. Nice. Okay, thorns is working. Let's look at meteor really quick. Is meteor, does it deal damage? No, there's no HP cost. Okay. So yeah, they were just taking damage off of thorns. Pretty cool. Alright. Thorns are working. Like I said, we're just going down the list, making sure they all work. So we tested burn, poison, bleed, thorns. Now let's try freeze. Freeze, shock, chill, slow. Let's see what freeze, shock, chill, and slow. Freeze, yeah, cannot queue actions or be targeted as a caster. Existing queued actions are paused. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Counts down in real time, does not tick during global pauses. Sure. No, so it's no stacking. Action speed penalty increases resolution time by some percentage per stack. I like that. If you're shocked, it just takes you a little bit longer. And there's a chance you fizzle. That's also kind of cool. It's kind of like being fully paralyzed in Pokemon. I think that's kind of cool. Adds a little bit of randomness. So, yeah, additive potency. Chill is a soft, slow, and damage taken increase for instant hits. Small increase to resolution time. That's cool. Vulnerability. increase incoming damage. That's also kind of cool. You're more vulnerable and it's harder for you to do your stuff. And then slow is a pure speed debuff for all actions, so it's just like a giant handicap there, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Let's implement these for status effects. Pretty cool. Right, doing the shock stacks, chill stacks, the slow stacks, implementing that into the speed calculator. That's cool. If we're frozen, we're just gonna skip, which is cool. And then if we're chilled, we're gonna take more damage. That makes sense. What was that about? Or be targeted as a caster. Oh yeah, interesting. Nothing works on it. Wait, this is confusing. Block if frozen? I want to take a closer look at that. What is it doing over there? Targeting manager. Oh yeah, if I'm frozen, I can't prepare a card for dragging. That makes sense. Where's the other spot? Here? Select a card. Yeah, I can't select a card if you're frozen. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. We're gonna skip all that. Here we go. This is when we're resolving. Fizzle chance 5% per stack. Yeah, so just don't do anything. That's cool. We can change that to 100 for testing. Okay. So we're gonna freeze. The potency doesn't matter for freeze. We don't want to apply to ourselves, and we'll do it for 5 seconds. So let's test this. So if we drag this over our enemy that's casting something, essentially all their timer should become frozen. Let's see what happens. Nice. It froze. And then it continues. And then it resolved. Nice. Not sure why Meteor does damage to itself. That was weird. Oh, whoops. Oops. Alright, let's get a... There we go. Do that. Okay. Yeah, freeze seems to be working. I guess we could also apply it to ourselves and see what happens here. Make sure that we are also frozen. Yeah, can't trigger any other card. Because we're frozen. Wait, does heal not work? What's going on? Hey, what's wrong with heal? Yeah, I guess we'll get there. Let's just go down the list. Okay. So he does it freeze. Guess let's test shock. So shock was... We don't want to apply to ourselves. Let's remind ourselves what shock was doing. Shock. Increases resolution time by some percentage in the speed calculator and a percentage chance of fizzling. Okay. And the stacking increases that. So in the speed calculator. So let's take a quick look at speed calculator. Getting the resolution time. Yeah, haste is faster. Shock stacks. 10% per stack. Okay, that's fine. Let's make it more dramatic. So we can see it in action. And then the other part is the execution, the fizzle effect. Where is that? Action queue manager. Here we go. Shock. This is a 5%. Let's just copy that. And for now, we'll make it 100%. So if they are shocked, it is a 100% chance to fizzle and a 50% increase to their resolution times. So we're gonna test that. Shock for 15 seconds, sure. Yeah, let's see what happens. So it didn't apply it in real time. It is fizzling this guy's effects, and I think we can see that in the console. Let's see if we can find fizzle. Yeah. Oh, I wasn't showing the effect. Oh no. Well, let's do it again. As you can see, let's say we affect this guy. So his timer doesn't increase on this ability. His ability does fizzle, and then future effects seem to have their time increased. So it's kind of working. Not exactly. Okay. Let's fix the shock speed increase. So let's see. Shock does not increase any of the currently queued actions of the enemy. I assume chill and what is it? Chill and slow also do not increase the current queued actions of the target. Going to make queued actions dynamically respect current shock chill slow by updating timer decrement to use a live speed multiplier. That's cool. Yeah, so instead of decrementing just by delta time, we get that multiplier and then we decrement, which makes sense. Okay, so that should have fixed our issue. Let's see it in action. So it's 3.2.5. That didn't work. It's not dynamically changing. You know what? Let's before we do this, I guess we can try. Oh, it it did this. Yeah. So let's try this 50% increase, because that might have been our issue, is that in the real time calc it wasn't. It was just set to like some really low value, like 10%, and 10% of something is not a lot. Nope, I don't think it's changing. Changing future ones, but it's not changing in real time. In the QUI, render from the action's live time until resolution, not from a cached base time. Yes, let's wire the QUI to read time until resolution. Yeah, it must be just not updating the cached version, right? There's some value that it's keeping track of and it's decrementing, but it's not actually changing it when it gets shocked, which makes sense. It's already implemented. Okay. What? This doesn't make any sense. Okay. Let's try something crazy. Is its time just slowing down, but it doesn't, like, here, what if we did 2? Whoa, not 200. Just 2. So it should multiply by 2. Oh yeah. it just goes slower. That's so dumb. Why would it do that? That's so stupid. I want to increase the time for resolution. Like, why would it do that? You know? It's like, oh, I want things I want you to take 50% longer. Let me like slow down your resolution instead of just adding 50% time. I guess the way it sees it is like there's, if you have like 5 seconds and then 2.5 seconds have already passed, do I apply the 50? It's like, no, I just want to reset it so that, let's say we're at 5 seconds and then we increase it by 50%. So the total time should be, 7.5 seconds, but 2.5 seconds have already passed. So like, just set it to 5 seconds, So, for example, if an ability takes 5 seconds to resolve and 2.5 seconds have passed, and that character gets shocked, and increases all resolutions by 50%, that ability should take a total of 7.5 seconds. Since 2.5 seconds have already passed, since the action was queued, the action will take 5 more seconds till resolution. Let's see if that helps it understand what I'm trying to do. Yeah, what a dumb. Like, it needs to be longer, man. Cuz like slowing down, I guess, is cool. Like if I didn't actually show those numbers, then it wouldn't matter, right? Because to the player, they just see their like bar slowing down, so they're like, "Oh, my bar is slowing down. I'm shocked." But I don't know. I think it's important for the game to have the timing of things be accurate to the seconds, Like if I have an ability that takes 5 seconds, I shouldn't be like, oh well, it takes 5 seconds and I'm slowed 50%, so it's gonna take 7.5 seconds, but visually it's still like the same distance or whatever. I don't know. It's just weird. Why would I do it that way? That just seems strange. Yeah, so it fixed it. I think we can test it now. And it should work. Let's see it go from, there we go. Except did it reset the time though? How long does Meteor take? It's slow. And how long do our slow effects take? I forget. Slow effects. Here we go. 5 seconds. There's got to be somewhere else. Speed calculator? Is that? Yeah, here we go. So slow is 5 seconds. So that was a weird increase in my opinion. Because see, we can see it. It's 3, 2, and then it jumps to 12. I mean, that doesn't seem right. That does not seem right. Speed calcs. Let's test the number that we actually know, just so we can make sure everything is as expected. Yeah, so I'm changing the number back to 0.5. So this should, since we have one stack of shock, increase our time from 5 seconds to 7.5. And that should be that. Hopefully it's not messed up. Let's try that again. All right, 3, 2. Yeah, okay. It is working as expected. Okay. That's cool. And I guess let's see what happens if we get them like right at the end. So maybe like right there. Yeah, okay. The progress bar is pretty accurate. All right, cool. Shock is working. Let's reset. Honestly, like 50% is probably too much, but 25 seems like a reasonable number for me. Obviously, each stack is pretty intense. Yeah, we'll leave it at 25. I'll change them all to 25 actually. I guess for slow, we'll increase it to 35. or whatever. We'll just make it 50. Slow is just like you're super slow. Obviously, the stacking will, you know, we should figure out a better number based on the stacks, but you know, whatevs. So shock is working. Let's see chill. So chill. Let's just remind ourselves. Slows down and takes extra damage, right? We should see it in the damage calculator. Yeah, here we go. We'll increase this to 50 also, just so we can see the numbers. Okay. So we got, let's go to basic damage. Let's make that a fast card too. We'll make it 10. Okay. And you know what? We'll make it 3 gen time. 1 second. Okay, so we've got chill for 15 seconds. Targets the enemy. It's fast. And it deals 10 damage. Okay. Okay, so we should be able to see the resolution go down, and we deal extra damage on our next attack. So let's give that a try. Test card. Okay, it did increase. Let's see if we do. You know what? I don't know why that deals damage to itself after it. It's really weird, right? Look at this. So it's trying to do Inferno. Oh, Inferno. I bet you Inferno deals damage to itself, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. We're just gonna set it to 0, because it's confusing me. Okay, let's try that again. So, Inferno should take longer. It does. Basic damage should do 15. It did. Okay. Pretty simple, straightforward. Chill is working. And then slow, pretty straightforward. We should just see it increase dramatically. Yeah. Cool. Super slow. Let's see the next thing you queue up. Yeah. Right? It doesn't... Oh yeah, we made it 50%. Yeah. Okay. Nice. So we got all these working. Let's see what weak, vulnerable, armored, unbreakable. So weak, I'm gonna guess the attack power goes down. Vulnerable, you take more damage. Armored, probably take less damage. Duh. Unbreakable. Maybe you can't be stunned. Or charmed or something. Weak, vulnerable, armored, unbreakable. weak, vulnerable, armored, and unbreakable do as status effects. How can we implement them? That makes sense. Outgoing damage increases incoming damage, reduce incoming damage, cap any single hit's damage to N. Kind of like what is it? What's that effect in Slay the Spire called? I forget. It's like something with an I. It's not invulnerable. I forget. Whatever. That sounds great. Let's implement them. I love how it was like, wait, you don't want me to implement it? Great. It's like, no, let's just do it. You got it right. All right, cool. Let's see what it changed. So it changed a bunch of stuff in damage calc. Let's see what happened here. Apply caster modifiers, target modifiers. Incoming. Okay, that's cool. Apply caster's buff, debuff to damage. That's cool. Yeah, might is the increase in damage. Cursed reduces damage. Oh, that's weird. Cursed and weak, what's the difference? Yeah, we'll figure it out. Vulnerable. Yeah, 25% per stack. Armored. Chill. I mean, yeah, we already had that. Clamp. And then unbreakable, capped at 200. That's weird. Yeah, I think cursed should affect like healing and stuff. I don't know why it's... Yeah. Okay. Weak. For 15. Yeah. Let's see it in action. Let's see if weak works. So I guess it's gonna be kind of hard to tell, but we can read the logs. Yeah. So there's an Inferno that did 30 damage. And then there's an Inferno that did 40 damage. So that checks out. That checks out. Vulnerable. So you should take 25% more damage. So if we apply vulnerable to you, so you took 10, now you should take 12? Yep, 12 damage. Alright, vulnerable's working. Armored, we're gonna apply to ourself. Because we want to be armored, not the enemy. So I guess let's do this. Let's clear. And then once it resolves, let's see what happened. Yeah, there we go. Inferno dealt 32 damage instead of the 40. So armored works. Unbreakable seems dumb to cap at 200. Let's change that. I don't know why it's pick some random number 200, as if my numbers are anywhere in that range. Where the hell is it? Weak, armored, chill, unbreakable. Yeah, we're just gonna cap that at 1. And you should just take 1 damage. Alright. Let's see how much damage we took. 3 damage from burn. Oh. That didn't work at all. Took 40 damage from that. Unbreakable. Oh, and the damage is greater than 200. This unbreakable doesn't... I don't like this. This is a stupid effect. It caps my damage. I mean, that's kind of cool, but it seems very arbitrary. I think I'm just gonna get rid of this other clause. Oh my god. Just keep them all. Yeah, just get rid of this. I don't know what that is. We'll just make it so that if you're unbreakable, you just take 1 damage. I feel like that's reasonable. Okay. Yeah, we're taking 1 damage. Alright, Unbreakable's working. We're making good progress. I mean, we have so many more abilities. And then we got Synergies also, which I think I mentioned it in the last video, but Synergies are like what happens when something else is present. So like if the target has a status effect, I think, you know, I think those things are kind of cool, right? Like maybe an ability deals more damage if they're currently burned. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah. All right. I'm gonna take a quick break. I was gonna get it. I think I might get a jacket. It's kind of cold. And then I'm gonna try and make it through this whole list here. Stun, silence, charm, misdirection, blast, might, haste, regen. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Okay. Stun, silence, charm, misdirection. I have no idea what misdirection can do. That seems... I mean, maybe it could target the wrong thing. Like it just randomizes the target. But let's see. Let's see what the almighty cursor has to say about it. Stun, silence, charm, misdirection. Let's see. Stun, I'm guessing is... How would I want stun to work? Maybe you just can't... It's... Is it like freeze? Freeze just freezes everything you do. Stun. Let's see what it says for stun. Can't queue when existing queued actions are paused. I don't like that. I think stun is like freeze, except you don't pause. So it's like, yeah, it just like removes. Actually, if we think about it, I think stun should just remove your queued actions, right? Whatever you have queued gets removed. Because that's a pretty powerful effect, considering that abilities have cooldowns and such. So maybe just removing everything in your action queue is like enough. And then maybe you can't queue actions for like a second or two. Whereas like freezes are more intense. I don't know. That's my guess. Cannot play spell or ability cards. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right? Silence, pretty generic in every game. Yeah, and I guess in this game you have abilities. The abilities can be damaging. What's tricky though is I have cards that do multiple things. Or I can have cards that do multiple things, or abilities that do multiple things. So we'll have to figure that out. Charm. Charmed units target its allies. Sure. Misdirection. On being targeted by a single target effect, redirect to a random other valid target, or back to the caster. I don't even think misdirection should be a thing. What is misdirection? That's dumb. Stun is definitely real. Silence is also real. So let's focus on stun and silence, and then we'll look at charm. I think charm's also charm's also strange. Does it just flip all of its queued actions Feels weird. Let's focus on stun and silence. Stun should remove all queued actions of the target that gets stunned and also stop it from queuing new actions for X amount of time. Silence should stop the use of non-attack abilities. However, keep in mind that some abilities can serve two purposes. I can have an ability that deals damage and also targets a queued action. In this case, the damage should be allowed, but they should not be able to target a queued action if they are silenced. And of course, other abilities like heal, which would be a skill, can also not be used. Alright, let's see. Let's see what it says. Alright. Let's see what it does. Action queue manager. Let's see what it added. So remove all actions for caster. That's cool. Oh, if frozen or stunned, yeah. Stop. What do we have here in status effect manager? If stunned, remove all actions immediately. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So let's take a look at targeting manager. Select card. Block if frozen or stunned. That's cool. Disallow heals. It's an interesting way of handling that. If the damage is greater than 0. Yeah. And then, yeah, later on, doesn't allow. Doesn't allow it. Okay, well, let's see. For now, it's is done every update. Okay. Let's check it. Stun. What? Stun. We'll do it for 2 seconds. And let's stun him. Well, that didn't work. Stunning did not remove the queued action of the target. Didn't do it, man. Didn't do it. It didn't do it. Why didn't it do it? Why didn't it do it? What? Of course they're registered, buddy. All the other things work. You ding dong. Didn't work. Does it even affect it? I don't know, like, oh, it's applying it to me. I had apply to self checked. I'm so dumb. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay, it was working. I'm the ding dong. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Well, that's... Don't I feel stupid? Alright, so stun was working the whole time. Let's try silence. It's doing it by damage, which I think is really weird. So let's go to the enemy. Fire sword. Let's just give them... let's make a new card. A test card. We'll call it skill card. We'll have go slow. Base damage is 0. It targets an enemy. And all it does is apply the status effect. Burn for 5 seconds. And we'll give it a regen time of 4. Sure. And then let's also equip it to ourselves, because why not? Where's our skill card? Skill card. So, and then let's also create a card. We'll call it Self Silence. Silence yourself. Silence yourself. Yeah, we'll make it fast. I don't know why I couldn't target myself with the heal. We should look at that. I'm just gonna leave it as enemy for now. And then I'm gonna silence myself for 10 seconds. So let's see if this works. Wait. I forgot to add the silence myself. Silence yourself. Alright. Here we go. So this should burns them. Great. Now we're gonna silence myself. I'm silenced. I shouldn't be able to, yep, can't do the skill cards. Alright, silence seems to be working. Cool, cool, cool. So silence is working. Charm and misdirection just seem like... Misdirection is just like, I'm not gonna worry about that. I think it could be cool, maybe, but... I'm not that interested in it. Blessed, might, haste, regen. Blessed, might, haste, regen. Are the next set of status effects I'm like implemented. What would they do and how would we implement them? Do. Increase healing done and healing received. I like the sound of that. Increase outgoing damage. Cool. Yeah, what's cool about all these effects is like... So like, you might be like, okay, well, what's the difference if I make something vulnerable versus give myself might? I mean, it's just another knob to turn, right? It's just giving us some game design flexibility. Speed up action resolution. Regen is periodic healing over time. That's cool. Let's implement them all. Let's implement them all. Get them all working. And yeah, let's make sure it doesn't do anything crazy. Damage calc. Got the blessed. This is a healing modifier. Cool. Implemented all 4. Oh, so they all work. Alrighty then. Let's test. Blessed. You know what? Now might be a good time to fix the heal. So yeah, I was not able to a player target card onto my player. Is it because of my... Am I stupid? Is it because my collider is somewhere? No, my collider's there. We should fix it though. It should be right at the feet there. Yeah. It's targetable. Yeah, maybe targetable doesn't check player. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's take some damage. Okay. And then... Yeah, I can't target myself, so... What's that about? What is that about? Let's figure it out. Onto... I'm able to drag a player target card onto my player. Yeah. Yeah. Thinking. It's thinking. I don't want to drop zone. What? What? Undo. I don't want that. want to use the 3D raycaster. The targetable 3D system. See what you think, buddy. How are you gonna fix this one? Let's see what it did. Validate. Is valid target for card? What is it doing? Cannot target self. Wait. Added player self-targeting via targetable 3D. Now returns true for player cards when the hover 3D target's controller is equal to the caster. On hover validity now computed with caster context. On drop, if card can target player and target equals caster, calls targeting manager dot select self. The self buffs heals work via 3D. Add target. I already did that. All right. You say it should work, buddy. And you've been right. You've been right a lot. So let's see if you're right on this one. Damage. Oh. Yeah. It works. Sweet. Sweet. Yes, we want to be blessed. Apply to self. I guess we can check that off because we want to target the player or the enemy, right? So it's like, I don't care. You want to bless the enemy? Go ahead and bless them. Maybe I have an ability that says all the heals actually do damage, right? Like, if I'm not mistaken, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh card that does that. Bad reaction to Simochi. Am I right? I think that's what it's called. Bad reaction to Simochi. Yeah, I was right. Increasing life actually decreases life. So maybe you want to bless them and then heal them, but you're doing damage to them. Very cool. Okay, so you're blessed for 10 seconds. That's cool. Let's go ahead and try this out. So we're gonna take a bunch of damage. And then let us bless ourselves, and then heal ourselves. Yeah, we healed. We're double healed? What is this? Oh, I see. It's it increases the healing we do and the healing we receive. So I think we need to turn that off, but let's remove that. Move the bless effect of receiving more healing. Because I don't like that. I mean, it would make more sense if we had like a bigger party system, but I don't think that's not the type of game we're making. We're making something else. Also, what's crazy about this game is I haven't even play tested it fully, right? I mean, there's a lot going on. It's gonna be hard to keep track of everything, but I think it'll be fun. Wait, what's this? Oh, poison reduces healing? It's interesting. I don't know why poison would do that. Cursed, maybe. Just change it to cursed. Because to me that makes way more sense. Yeah, so this section was saying poison, you know, reduced healing, which that doesn't make any sense. But being cursed, I like that. But yeah, I removed the bless, the double bless. Bless. So then might should give us a 50% increase in our damage. So we have might, we should do 15 damage. Bingo. Easy peasy. Haste. Increases resolution of all abilities. Let's check our basic damage. Is basic damage slow? We're gonna change it to slow. Okay. So haste for 10 seconds. Yep. Let's see if it works. Now this should take... Was that faster? Looks like it's starting at 4. Right. It looked like it was less. Oh, you guys couldn't even see it. That's great. Whoops. Well, anyway, it was hard to see. Where's haste? Let's multiply it by 5. Alright. Let's see that haste in action. We should go to a 2.5 second resolution time. Yep, there it is. Alright, haste is indeed working. Regen. Let's see if this works. I don't see that. Let's get rid of the burn stuff on the test, on the enemies, because that's messing up with the whoops. Yeah. Wait, what? Do they only have Ignite at the moment? That doesn't seem right. Yeah, we're just gonna get rid of this. Do they only have Ignite? Yeah, I guess I removed all the other ones. Okay. So... yeah, regen is not working. Do I need to put the potency? Maybe I need to put the potency in there. I'm guessing yes, because it's kind of like a damage over time, but a heal over time. So let's see. Yeah, there it is. Just had to mention the regen potency. Okay, regen works. Cursed, blind, fear, marked, fragile, exhausted. How many of those are relevant? Uncontrollable is dumb. Reflect. Reflect can be interesting, where it reflects damage one time. It's like a bounce. I think reflect is cool. Cursed, to me, you receive less healing for sure. And then something else. Maybe it's like a little bit of damage over time and you can't heal. But the damage over times are usually like smaller increments. Or actually, what might be cool is cursed is every time an action resolves, you take a little bit of damage. I think that's kind of cool. Blind is probably just like kind of like shock, where you could fizzle, but it's just a higher % chance. Fear I don't think is relevant to us. What could fear do? I guess fear could just be like, there's a % chance it removes itself from combat completely. That might be interesting. Marked maybe is just increased crit chance. Like I think increased crit chance is probably right. Agile is also increased crit chance. And then exhausted maybe your cards can't regen. I think that's kind of cool. All right. I like all of those. So yeah. Okay. Reflect should be a one-time non-stackable effect that bounces an attack back to the caster. So that's reflect. Cursed should take damage when an action they queued up resolves and receive less healing. Blind has a chance to fizzle the action on an action on resolution. What else we got? Marked and fragile just seem... I know they're two different things, but... And I guess technically if... Because you could make yourself fragile, but could you mark yourself? I think maybe there's a single way to describe crit I don't even know if I have crit in the damage calcs. Do we even have crits? I don't think I even have crits. You know, what'd be kind of cool is if marked means you can only target that character, but it increases your crit. And then fragile increases your crit chance. Period. Fragile increases that character's crit chance against them. Right? What else do we have? Fragile and then exhausted. Exhausted means that character's abilities can't regen. All right. Cursed. Take potency from the active status effect on caster. Blind, chance to fizzle on resolution, marked. Let's apply these effects, but beforehand implement a crit system. Gotta have crits. We could always remove crits. Crits are cool though. Gotta love a good crit. Gotta love a good crit. Okay. Crit multiplier deals 2 damage, base crit chance 5%, 20% for marked, 15% fragile, apply critical strike, and I'm assuming over here, yeah. Alright, let's wire, reflect, cursed, blind, and marked, and exhausted. Once we test all these guys, I'll give it a rest for tonight. Let's see what it did here. Okay. Thorns damage. Sure. Yeah. Bounce the incoming damage back to the attacker. Yeah. Pretty cool. So we got that. Let's see what it's doing in Action Queue Manager, huh? Blind Fizzle before Shock. Fizzle chance, and then the Shock Fizzle chance. Yeah. And then here, self-damage on Resolve. What is this? Is this Resolve? Yeah, this is in Resolve. And then start regeneration unless exhausted. The question is, is it smart enough that after it stops being exhausted, yeah, definitely gonna want to move everything into some kind of config file. Can't have all these magic numbers everywhere. But we'll do that. Maybe next time. Probably do that first thing next time, and then also get the synergies working. That's gonna be cool too. Okay, so it says it should all be working. Let's try reflect. So I wonder what happens if... Because I don't want it to go away. Right? Yeah, see? But I guess that makes sense. Like, why you're just gonna what? Have a shield up forever? No. Cheap. Okay. So we should bounce that. Yep, bounced it back to the enemy. Except it's a one-time. It should be a one-time bounce. Reflect stays active for X amount of seconds. The desired behavior should be a stack of reflect that is removed after a successful reflect. Yeah, because we're gonna should be a stack of reflect that is removed after a successful reflect. Or when the time expires. Right? Because we don't want it to just stay on for the entirety of the 10 seconds. But if nobody hits you in those 10 seconds, then you lose your reflect. But once you reflect once, you should lose that effect. Consume one stack. Consume a stack. And then should remove. Perfect. Let's check it. So I should bounce one. Exactly. Perfect. It's working. Cursed. We're gonna curse you. So now you take 10 damage when you resolve an ability. That seems to be the case. Yep. And you receive less healing. So let's make sure that that works. We'll curse ourselves and try and heal ourselves. See what that does. Yeah. So we only healed for 21 instead of 60. Oh, it has the same healing output versus healing received. So cursed shouldn't change my healing output. My healing output, just the amount I receive. Yeah. Alright, perfect. So that should fix that problem. Almost done with the list here. Blind. I really want to try this exhausted. Because like I said, I feel like I'm not going to be able to regen my cards at all. But let's see. So I'm going to exhaust myself. And then I'm going to do damage. Okay. And I'm no longer exhausted. My guess is these cards aren't ever going to show back up. And I think I'm right. But they're just lost forever. I knew you were going to mess up, man. The abilities properly do not regen. However, after exhaustion has been removed, the abilities never return, meaning they never start regenerating after exhaustion. Long and hard about this one. Can't figure it out, can you, buddy? No. Deferred regen. Excellent solution. Yeah, and then once it's... Yep. That makes perfect sense. Yep. Yeah, and then here, if we're exhausted... Otherwise, we add it to the deferred list. That makes perfect sense. try it. That now it should just work, I think. Alright, so we're gonna exhaust ourselves, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Oh, not regenning, not regenning. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got them all back. It must have regened. Oh, because the test card was technically regenning while the effect was taking place. That's why it popped up first. So yeah, exhausted works. I feel like blind is gonna work because shock worked. I guess we should try marked. Let's see if we can crit. And then we'll call it damage calc. Apply crit. Where is the crit? Apply critical strike. Crit chance. Alright, so we'll just go to marked and change that to 1. And we'll change that to 1. So now we should crit a marked enemy 100% of the time. And critting should double our damage. Do it. Test card. This guy's marked. We did double damage. I shouldn't be able to target. Oh, what happened there? Uh-oh. That was weird. That was weird. Fragile though. We can definitely test fragile also. Double damage, cool. So the mark thing was kind of weird. Try that again. Actually, let's just change this to like 30. Yeah, it was really weird. It like targeted it and then so the basic damage, yeah, that works. But then it just eats the card. So let's fix that before we're done here, and then we'll be done, because we'll have tested them all. Something about the handling of marked versus non-marked is not working as expected. Alright, yeah, let's see what you fixed, huh? What'd you fix here? Likely cause. The 3D drop was accepting the selection even when the marked restriction should block it, so the drag ended without playing or restoring the card. Before calling select enemy, we now reject drops on non-marked enemies when an enemy is marked and the card deals damage. In that case, the 3D handle returns false, so the drag system falls back to cancel restore. Alright. You say it should be fixed, My question is, can I also target myself? So you're marked. I'm gonna damage you. And then, yeah, can't target anything. Can I target myself? No, I can't even target myself. That's kind of cool. It's kind of like a... Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if it's what I want, but we can fix it later. Okay. Cool. So I'll get rid of fear, uncontrollable, charm, and misdirection. Fear, uncontrollable. Uncontrollable. Charm. And misdirection should be removed. Then we'll be done with all of our status effects. Yeah, so where is it? Status effect type. Yeah, charm, misdirection. You're gone. Fear. You're gone. Uncontrollable. You're gone. Sweet. Okay. Uh-oh. Aha. Couple more spots, we gotta get rid of it. Fear. Get out of here. Charm, you're gone. Uncontrollable, you're gone. Misdirection, you're gone. Did I miss one? I don't think so. Okie doke. Alrighty. We're looking pretty good. So yeah, what we're gonna do next time, you can see here, we have our status effects, and then down here we actually have something called synergies. Synergies are interesting. We're gonna give all this a try. So thankfully, applying our status effect should be pretty straightforward because we've tested all of them, so they all work. Damage multiplier, we got a flat damage bonus, or we got damage multiplier and status. We're going to test all this stuff next time. But yeah, basically, synergies are going to be dependent on different conditions. In the case, what we have here is like if the person has a certain status effect, if I have a certain status effect, target below a certain percentage. Yeah, stuff like that. So we're gonna do that next time. But yeah, thanks everyone. Peace out.